very important comrades arrive, I will acknowledge them. But for now, please stand for the playing of the national anthem. Please remain standing as we invite Dr. Bailey to come and proffer prayers.
Pleasant afternoon to you all. We pause for prayer. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like seas billows roll, whatever my lot thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. Heavenly Father, we come before your throne of grace this afternoon, knowing that you are the author and the finisher of our faith. We look to you as the only wise God. To you be majesty, dominion, and power. We pause today to say, Lord, have your way in our midst. We ask for your directions. We ask for your presence. We pray that you will lead us. We pray that you will guide us. We pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And Lord, at the end of this afternoon's proceeding, we can say it was good to be here. And so we ask for your continued guidance throughout this portion of today's exercise, and we ask that you will shower down your blessings upon us, Lord, in a powerful way, that, Lord, we will remember that you have been with us. Continue to lead and to guide and to protect. From the rostrum to the pew, we ask for your blessings continually, and we leave this service into your hands and into your care, and we ask that you will be glorified. Father, be magnified even now as we give you thanks, we give you praise, we give you glory, and we give you the honor in Jesus' name.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bailey. You may be seated. We now invite the Colonel of the Moortown Maroons, Colonel Wallace Sterling, to bring the official welcome.
First of all, let me say, I just want to say this first, and then I will deal with the other things. It is a lovely gathering, and I want to welcome you in a traditional Maroon way. So I'm going to say, Awatu, Awatu, Akwaba. Awatu, Awatu, Akwaba. So I'm embracing you all, and I'm welcoming you to this place. So, Mr. Chairman, our guest here on the platform, the Honorable Prime Minister from St. Vincent and Grenadine, the Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Mark Golin, our candidate for Portland Eastern, Mr. Isat Buchanan, and I can see that we have a lot of other official persons here, but in true Maroon fashion, I'm going to say, Akwaba, a biggie pray. Akwaba, a small pray. So in this way, I welcome you all. But as we sit here on the beach as it is, and we are looking out to sea, what it reminds me of is a time when our foreparents came to these very same shores. Nanny and many of her followers were here. And the ship got wrecked in that other harbor. They made their way down the coast, up the Rio Grande Valley, and they settled at a place that they call Pumpkin Hill. That was the first free black settlement in this neck of the woods. They later moved from there to another place that they called Tony River, but the government called it Nanny Town because Nanny was the leader. So Portland has a lot to offer. And I am most thankful for our candidate, who have seen this vision to bring this gathering here this afternoon, where we can sit down, we can listen to the speakers, and we can take the many good things that will be said and how we look forward to developing our parish of Portland in a way that every man, woman, and child can benefit from the rich legacy that we have. Our foreparents had led the way. They had struggled against the colonial oppressors, and they managed to liberate themselves. And in the process of doing so, they have set off what I want to call some sort of volcanic activity. Because as a result of that, you find that many liberation struggles took place throughout the so-called New World, to include the Asian Revolution, the American War of Independence, and all the struggles of the other maroon communities throughout Central and South America, to include the Maroons of present-day Suriname, French Guiana, the persons in Mexico, Colombia. All of these come as a result of what our foreparents did here. In the other parts of the Caribbean, there were many struggles. Fact of the matter is, some of them were, the islands were small, it was difficult for them to succeed. But then they stood up and they fought for what they believe. As Portlander, we believe that we can go forward, we can do all the things that we want, and we have to create the chance, we have to create the opportunity to make that happen. So, if when you go back home, in your walk, in your talk, you encourage your neighbor, encourage the other persons that you are seeing on the street to make it happen. And it can happen in several ways, but there's one main way it can happen. If we support somebody who has the idea, somebody who has a vision, somebody who is willing to work assiduously with us to make it happen, that is the best thing that we can do. So, earlier I said I was sitting out there and I looking at the pier and I said, oh, we have a very beautiful pier. We have a very beautiful marina. But I'm just wondering to myself, and I might wonder aloud, why do we call the marina Harold Flint Marina? Somebody like Nanny, who has been here before Harold Flint, who has made more contribution to this country and to the Western Hemisphere than Harold Flint. Why did we not name it after Nanny? Maybe it is not too late. We got to name something significant after Nanny. And it will come. And for sure it will come sooner than later. Because we believe in ourselves. And we know that if we work hard, we can achieve that which we want. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to say to you, be steadfast in what you believe. Be steadfast in what you're going to be doing. Work hard, and we shall overcome. So once again, let me say, before I leave the stage, I welcome you all. And I'm expecting great things from you all. So let me say, Medasi. Medasi Apim. Thank you 1,000 times.
Thank you very much, Colonel Wallace Sterling. When Isat Buchanan said he was bringing the heat, I wonder if he also knew, in addition to the health, education, agriculture, and tourism, that at this time in the afternoon, the sun would be reflecting off the harbor, bringing additional heat and beauty. But with the heat will come the light. I'm also honored to be asked to moderate this evening's program. Could not have had a better day to do it, because printed in the Gleaner today is an update that they call How the Constituencies Are Leaning. In St. Catherine, they created a parish to create a stronghold or a safe seat for someone. And that safe seat or stronghold that they created is not in the list of constituencies that are being considered safe for them. And I'd like to use this opportunity to point out that we're in a parish that a couple of people have claimed it is theirs. Eastern Portland is not in the safe seat for them either. We have Dr. Dawes here, we have Dr. Horton here, and we have Doreen Forbes here. All of them have opponents like I do who are irritating, annoying, and disturbing. And this morning, none of our opponents can be happy, because the reality is that time come now. I am asked by the organizers who invited me here to remember that I'm here more in my capacity to moderate, Richie, than I am in my capacity as a politician. And my granny teach me say, no go a company house and misbehave. So I won't misbehave. The final thing I will say is there is an expression, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. And East Portland decides, say, them are going to take the heat. And we're going to start off by reminding you that this East Portland Public Forum, Bringing the Heat, aims to engage residents of the constituency in a dynamic and interactive discussion with key stakeholders on the issues affecting this parish and this constituency. Today's event will provide a platform for party officials, incoming government officials, to level it down to the understanding of East Portlanders. And thanks to our media colleagues, BOJTV and others, not only will East Portlanders understand the heat today, but all of Jamaica at home and in the diaspora will understand the heat. And our colleagues in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are already accustomed to a certain kind of heat. So we will also get an introduction, because I am reliably informed that Comrade Ralph, like many of us, has come from very humble beginnings. And if there is one word to describe that energy which has fueled his political service, going now 50 years, is the belief he has in love. Simple word, but a complex philosophy is guided by love. He has a special love for the elderly, for the youth, and for the marginalized. And in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is very close to the topography of Portland, are several issues of human, social, economic, and community development, which are similar to the ones faced by East Portlanders, and I dare say by all Jamaicans, including the diverse population, which for us, as you have seen, includes the Maroons, and in St. Vincent and the Grenadines includes the Kalinago people. I really hope I've pronounced that correctly. Thank you very much. So we are also going to be hearing from Comrade Ralph, but we are hearing from Jamaica's incoming 10th Prime Minister. We will soon refer to him as the Most Honorable Mark Golding. And when he comes to this podium, he will be sharing, continuing to share his insight as to his own philosophy, driven also by a fuel that we can call LOVE, love. If there has ever been a leader in Jamaica who not only understands the levity of the poor and the dispossessed, but also understands how to navigate the ecosystem of economic and wealth creation, so he can bring both sets of experiences, his lived experiences as well as his professional experiences, to bring together a team of other patriotic men and women, all children of the soil of this island, to ensure that what is achieved is the greatest formulation of policies and program to unlock, unleash, and release the true potential of the Jamaican people, our economy, and this society, then that person's name is Mark Jefferson Golding. So as we know, when Isat speaks about the heat, he speaks about health, education, agriculture, and tourism. And we're going to get into the heat of the matter as we welcome to the podium Comrade Dr. Alfred Dawes, who will be speaking about the PNP's vision for health.
Comrade Chair, Comrade Honorable Ralph, who I'm understanding that despite you living at the time on Taylor Place, you're a good friend of my father. Taylor Place. I chose my words very carefully. Next Prime Minister of Jamaica, Mark Jefferson Golding. The man with the plan, Isat. My fellow MP candidates, honored guests, comrades and friends, good evening. Now I could talk all evening on health because I learn in politics and I hear I have to chat enough. But I'll keep it simple. We are at a time in our history where we are on a precipice. I think we can all agree that healthcare is falling apart in Jamaica. I don't need to come and tell you anymore about the problems you're seeing right across the island, of the tears that are being shed privately and on social media, of the weeping and moaning and gnashing of teeth. But we, as we prepare to take the reins of government, have to have a plan. But to solve the issues with healthcare, we need to go even deeper than to say what we're going to do. We have to start with first not accepting what it is that we are experiencing. You in Port Antonio and Portland, if you get a stroke, do not accept it that you have to go to another parish for a CAT scan. Do not accept that if you have an emergency, you need to go to St. Ann to get a CAT scan, come back to Portland, and then get transferred to KPH. I put it to you, which you may not realize, that Portland has been the most neglected parish when it comes to health services. And anyone who wants to challenge me, the evidence is there. You have one parish hospital. And they will say that there are other parishes with one parish hospital. But look at your neighbors in St. Thomas. They have Princess Margaret Hospital. They have 30 doctors. You have 12. It is time that we stop accepting it and demand more. It is not enough for the incumbent member of parliament to be boasting that they got a baby incubator. I don't know what that is. We don't call anything baby incubator because we don't have adult incubators. But it is not enough to boast that you got this baby incubator when the nearest pediatrician to take care of that baby is an hour away. How do you reconcile that? What would Nanny think? What would those who fought for our rights and freedoms think that now you have sitting in the corridors of power a government that is more concerned about public relations and hiding the realities of a broken healthcare system rather than fixing it? And this is where we say that enough is enough and time come. Time come for us to stop accepting inferior care. Stop accepting that lives are going to be lost needlessly while they rape the system. Time come for reforms. And we have to have concrete plans in place. But it is for the people, you, to demand that reform. Because it is not going to be easy, I can tell you that. Because there are so many disease profiteers out there who are making millions off the broken system, where a drill that costs $5 million is sold for $30 million, where a CT scan is bought and it don't have a battery and it's not working for a year, and cancer patients have to be finding money and going outside to get care. Enough is enough. If we cut corruption in the Ministry of Health by 50%, we can save so many lives. And that is one of the first things that this government is going to do when we form it. So this is a warning to all those who are making bank and sacrificing Jamaican lives on an altar of gold. Time come.
Comrades, please acknowledge Comrade Senator Damian Crawford. All right, settle down as Damian takes his seat.
Russ is a Portland man, you know, so you have to remember that. So comrades and well-wishers tuning in from all over, the plan is simple when you're looking at fixing health. As with anything, you have to look at demand and supply. The demand on the health services is rising. We are getting older, we are getting sicker, we are putting on more weight, we have more chronic diseases. And so we have to address that. And it is not going to be a situation where we just tell people they need to go to clinics. We understand that in Portland, you have to be chartering taxi to go all the way to KPH. versus paying $400 on a JUTC or a taxi to get there. So we cannot have access to healthcare being in Kingston. Access to healthcare has to be here in Portland. So the hospital has to be upgraded. And it starts with imaging. It starts with the staffing. And it starts with the development of the clinics in the outlying areas. We need to take care of the diabetes, the high blood pressure, before they become stroke and amputation and heart attack. So the control of the sugar is going to be where the resources must go, because it is harder to treat a stroke than it is to treat high blood pressure. And that is the change in mindset that we are going to implement when we form the government. So screening, preventative medicine, primary care will be the first pillar on which we are going to reform the healthcare sector. We know that the demand is also in trauma. I don't know what the bike thing is like, but we know that if you dilly-dally, you're going to end up on a hospital trolley. And we need to fix that. Greater enforcement of traffic laws, public education, etc. But at the same time, you can't stop yourself from getting sick. I said the current Minister of Health telling people when University Hospital was overcrowded that they should take personal responsibility. So they should stop getting cancer then. They should stop being trafficked and somebody just hit them and run in the back. They must stay at them yard. As one Rasta said to the world around, better you guy your bed go lay down. But we cannot push back personal responsibility on the people. We have to get access to health care where it is needed. And the reforms are going to be boring. They don't involve a lot of TV and ribbon cutting. It's going to be laws. The Prime Minister has dedicated, and I'm calling him Prime Minister. We have had discussions and we know that there are going to be some laws that are going to be needed to be passed immediately in order to reform healthcare. Drugs must be cheaper. You cannot choose between your light bill and your pharmacy bill and think that everything is going to be all right. So there are many things that we need to fix. And in time, we know that them thief in ideas, so we're not going to roll out everything. But in time, you will see why when we ask the questions at the polls, who is better to manage the health of Jamaicans, the answer will be resoundingly the PNP. So comrades, take care and understand that when them say better must come, better is coming.
Councillor Benny White, I should know better. I used to live in this parish, and Dexter Rowland is my councillor and actually introduced me to a lot of the politics when I was down here. The E in heat is education, and the education man, the real Rasta man, now comes to the podium. By the way, just to let you know, BOJTV is streaming live, Partner Draw TV is streaming live, and Peter Gay Ferguson TV, PNP TV, is streaming live.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Also, special good afternoon to the leader of the People's National Party, future President, Prime Minister of Jamaica. To Isat Buchanan, Next member of parliament. Who will take, what did you say? Vengeance on my behalf? Respect and honor. To one of the stalwarts of the Caribbean, one of my mentors, a person who have been in the fight for a long time and remain committed to equity as a concept within the world. Ralph Gonzalez, love and honor, St. Vincent, Passy. I see some brethren here from school time. I don't know if I should announce it. But some stalwarts in all different areas of life. I don't want to announce it and load them up because they are arresting people for being on PMP stage. So we have to be careful. See, keep reaching a problem, you know, just because. But my brethren, from 12-year-old till now, respect my brother. And to you, my bonononus from Portland, I will always love East Portland. Never will I forget the effort, the commitment. And while we have the record, I want to give it up when this election is called. I think another Rasta should take that record and go forward. But in truth, I really love you know, and I love how they make me feel welcome and wanted every single time. I came at 4 and Isat told me to go to a little villa and wait until time he will call me down. And he almost make this thing move from heat to hate because education nearly missed its position. So therefore, I am now here to speak to what you know is my passion, education. It is my passion because it is what I have experienced myself. Remember when I told you that you cannot have people who never experience your life be in charge of your life. It is education that moved me from sharing 2 divan with 6 people to having my house with empty room as guest room. And so I am only speaking to a passion of 1 degree per household because my mother have 11 brothers and sisters. And one one person, my uncle, went to university from my mother's generation. From that one, 38 of my cousins and myself and my sister have a 1st degree, and 11 have a 2nd degree, starting from 1. And so the concept that guides the PMP's education principle is 1 degree per household. That it is our long-term strategy that every household should have a degree. I hear some people seek to ridicule that success, that principle, by saying we should focus on pre-primary and focus on this and focus on that. It automatically assumes a focus on all previous levels because there can be no degree if you're illiterate. So 1 degree assumes that at least 1 literate is in every household. It presumes that 1 primary school achiever is in the household. It assumes that 1 CXC getter, because all of those are precursors to get to 1 degree per household. I see some stalwarts in them say not allow them up and not allow them up. All right, cool. So when we look at that, how do we achieve that in East Portland? And as you know, that was my dream. one of my dreams was to ensure that it is corrected that Nanny don't have an institution named after her in the education sector. You have Paul Bogle, you have Sam Sharp, you have Buster Manty, you have Norman Manley High School, but you don't have a Nanny High School. And therefore, we identified Fellowship, which was once junior high, to be rebranded the Nanny High School in East Portland, so that East Portland can recognize the Maroons' contribution. We are going to start by ensuring that at the early childhood level, there are sufficient trained teachers, because the base development of the child's brain happens in the first 5 years. They say 80% of the child's brain function takes place between 0 and 5 years old. And so it must be the principle and policy of the People's National Party to ensure that that start is a reasonable start for every child in this country. And for those who are not understanding that importance, then why is it that they who are saying we can't afford it contribute so much to their own children getting that preschool and that basic school? So we will be spending on ensuring that the schools that are basic schools have qualified teachers, and also that they have satisfactory infrastructure. Myself and Isat have a conversation that we might have to go to court, because the Constitution states that is the right of every child to primary and pre-primary education. And if it is that this is only private, that right is being abridged and abrogated. We also then will look at ensuring that there is remedial education for those who aren't doing well at current. One of the problems we have is that you wait till the end of the year, you test the child, you do no fixing of the problem, and send that child to another grade. And it leads to what we have now, that we have 18% of our children getting 5 subjects, including math and English. If this was America, it will never be accepted for 18% getting a GED, the minimum successful graduation from secondary school. And so we are going to implement an intervention system that therefore corrects the failing at 7th grade, at week 1, at week 2, week 3, instead of wait till the end of the year for say, boy, this picnic fail. We will have evening classes facilitated by trained teachers. We will have weekend classes. So let's say a child don't do good at factorization. If you don't intervene in that week, now makes sense to teach him quadratic equation, because quadratic equation is based on factorization. So therefore you must intervene to correct whatever factorization misunderstanding in the afternoons of that week, on the weekend of that week, so that he can graduate into the next week and be competent and capable. We have to do that necessary intervention. So we propose that 2 days a week must be for homework, sending home my 11th grade child with maths work to do at home with a 9th grade dropout parent. What sense does that make? And so he becomes frustrated not understanding this homework. So we will facilitate homework centers for 2 hours in your schools in East Portland. And we are blessed in East Portland with CASE, where we can recruit some of those students to become facilitators of those homework sessions. It means, therefore, that for some reason we have continued to send home children 2:30 when parents don't reach home till 7. And then we wonder why they're being impregnated by adults and recruited by gangs. And so we will move it to 4:30, facilitate that, and help those students from CASE who are having difficulty to move forward. We're also going to fight to teach and keep our teachers in the schools. Good teachers are now becoming dime unavailable. Being recruited, as you know, Sir Ralph, by the United States and England with wanton disregard for the realities that we face. So much so that we don't even know when they're leaving until school ready to start. And to this point, we have only mentioned that they're leaving without putting a retention plan for teachers to stay. We have been in full discussion in the party about when we should come with our ideas. Because we know, them not ramp, especially with my one, them not give me a break. Them teeth it all before me say it sometime. But we feel that it must be easier for a teacher to own a home and a vehicle. One of the number one initiators, motives for migration is to own those two assets that they perceive to be so important. And so we will negotiate with the NHT, but also for every 5 years that a teacher remain in the classroom, they will get concession consideration of increasing levels so that they can stay longer and get better vehicle at each time. Yeah, if Andrew said that in a theme speech, we are going to carry this. Make sure you catch it on tape. It a tape? All right. Yeah. We come again, and we will also go to the embassies to negotiate a strategy of recruitment that allows us to plan better for the absence of teachers. We have situations, even in Portland, where you have some PE teachers teaching maths class because you don't have a maths teacher. That teacher is only there to create discipline, not to teach the subject. So we must have a system that the recruiter should come to a centralized area to say we are interested in ABC, and we then become prepared for the loss of ABC. But to satisfy that migration, we're going to go into the universities and say to those who graduate, we put in a Teach First program. That if you're willing to go in the classroom for the first 2 years after graduation, we will forgive 1% of your student loan. So you're getting some of the best minds of Jamaica, graduating with degrees in economics and actuarial sciences, wouldn't normally go teach maths. But when they sign up for the Teach First program, they come back, some teach field picnic bright like morning star. They come back down to Portland before them go into their true careers and take a 2 years and teach first. That's why we say don't put small minds to solve big problems. Because they're not thinking these creative strategies that we have to go forward. We then look at case. And we have a long envisioned that case should transform from a college to a university. And that university should becoming a provider of agricultural skill sets for the entire Caribbean. Whenever Ralph Gonzalez have 2 youth who want to study agriculture, it should compete with St. Augustine. That you send them to case with agriculture research, with the different types of crops that we can implement, with entrepreneurship training, but also to provide sufficient teachers in the area of agriculture that we can move forward. The final part we're willing to separate with before the budget, because there's more, is to also introduce vocational education from 10th grade for the heart program. The pathway that you have for 13th grade should mean a child could choose a vocational pathway and move from 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and 13th grade to have a level 4 in heart to graduate at that level. That person that leave with a level 4 in heart will then be able to go to UTech or any other degreed program because he now has conquered the vocational level. What we have is to give them level 2 and then tell them they have to go all the way down to Buff Bay or go all the way up to Mansion Hill. A whole different process and procedure. And when they apply it full, and it full for how long, and when they eventually go, they can't get the certificate, and it becomes crazy. So from the heart funds, we will put a infrastructure within each school for at least 4 vocational offerings. And that will be able to take the child in the day, and then to take the adult in the night. If we are able to put in the labs, the vocational labs for welding and for plumbing and for steel work, and we go as far as to landscaping and for culinary arts in the secondary schools, then we can expand Heart's reach to Evelyn schools for adults to use the same labs that our children use in the day. So you now have to take bus now from one place, go all the way, him have to find money, him give up before he gets what is necessary. And when we therefore go to the airport, I want a Jamaica, I want a East Portland that now asks for farm work yard. You ask for skill work yard. That we have a new program that evolves out of Jamaica, that any country that need these skills, send a request for our skilled individuals to then come up and go look that same life that you're lifting up apple and picking strawberries. And so when the PMP, which have always been the authority on education, that has always had a competitive advantage in education, gets another chance, we will make sure that hunger isn't the determination of performance. I see in the newspaper that says some children will get breakfast. We guarantee 1 meal per child in school. Every young child that goes to a school in Jamaica should be guaranteed at least 1 meal. 5 days per week. That is going to be the change. That is going to be the transition that moves us from 18% to 80%. So the next time you listen to the radio and they say the PMP have no ideas, just send them the video from health, from education, from agriculture, and from tourism. So not only Portland feels the heat, but Jamaica feels the heat as well. Thank you and good afternoon.
I just realized that what I thought would have been an easy job turns out to be the hardest job, because I had to stand for 4 minutes. Because when I stand up, it's the 1 minute marker for the speaker to wrap up. And I had to stand up for 4 minutes for my friend from across the road of St. George's College to know it was the wrap-up time. I'd like to also acknowledge that present with us, we have Chief Richard Curry, Ambassador Anu El, Major Rohan Harris, and Abeng Custodian Avian Barnes. Continuing with the heat, we invite Comrade Dr. Andre Horton, who will be speaking about innovation and economics. Of course, he will also be speaking on the importance of both of those concepts to modernizing Jamaica's agricultural sector. Please make him welcome.
Thank you so much, Moderator Raymond, for your introduction. Comrade Mark Golden, our next Prime Minister. Give him a round of applause. Big him up every time. Such an astute fellow. Comrade Isat Buchanan. The last time I came to Portland was my first time speaking on a political platform. Isat, I recognize the work that you have been doing here. Very good work, and I've supported that work from day one. And you too should continue to support the work that he is doing out here in Portland. Comrade Ralph, Taylor Wright, don't mind Alfred, he doesn't understand. If there ever was an incubator for leaders, not just for Jamaica and the Caribbean, it is the land of Tayloria. It's written in the mountains. Written in the mountains. Comrade and friends, also have to big up my colleagues who are here, Comrade Dawes and others. Chief Curry, big up yourself every time. Welcome as well. Comrades, last year the Jamaican economy declined by 1%. What happened was that it started growing in the first half of the year, but by the time it got to the third quarter, the economy declined by 3.5%, and by it got to the fourth quarter, it declined by a further 1.8%. Now, many of us hear about economic growth, and we hear about economic contractions that lead to recessions. And currently there's a big debate between the JLP government, the PIOJ, and the Oxford Dictionary as to what a recession is. The dictionary says that a recession is 2 consecutive periods of negative growth. But the government tries to mask their definition by saying that there are other factors that contribute to a recession. They go on by saying that they have been increasing employment, so we should feel good that more people are working. In a country like Jamaica, of such remarkable people, people with such high ambitions, people who want to see the future of the country resembling that of the United States of America, resembling that of a Mauritius, a Singapore, resembling that of a modern metropole that provides the right level of resources. Dr. Dawes came, he spoke about healthcare. Damien came, he spoke about education. These pillars are what determine what a modern country looks like. Currently in Jamaica, over 60% of the population has no diploma, which means that they did not graduate from high school. And what my research has showed is that our inability to grow rests in one main factor: our productivity. Over the last 3 to 4 decades, Jamaica's productivity has been on a steady decline. And along with the decline in productivity is the real wages. They look like a one-to-one graph going down a hill. And why we have to mention productivity and wages? Because productivity is what drives the wages of a country. The more you produce per hour, the more you can sell, the more you earn income, the more income is distributed to the people who produced those goods. And it is important because every year we want to see the country grow. And we talk about growth, right? It's a big thing in the news every time. Jamaica wants to grow. I mean, in 2016, the government came out and they said that in 4 years, they envision that the country is going to grow by 5% per annum. It has now been 9 years and the country is experiencing negative growth. Jamaica is what is called a small island developing state, a SID. And being a SID, it means that you're susceptible to negative as well as positive shocks from external economies. It seems that the negative shocks have been impacting us more and more and more compared to the positive shocks. Now, I want you to think about the economy and think about what is it that you want for yourself and what is it that you want for your children and your children's children. Think about an economy that is growing less than it did last year, but it's employing more people than it did last year. It means that we have our people working without the right compensation, because it's like too many cooks spoil the broth. More people being employed and you're producing less. Some of the people need to get out the kitchen. The heat is on. Jamaica has far more potential than that. From a macroeconomic standpoint, my research has shown that the productivity is impacted by two main factors. One, human capital development, which is the level of education of our people. And two, the level of corruption that has been taking place in this country. And we cannot stand on a platform and speak about the leadership of Jamaica without talking about the negative impact that corruption, the negative impact that the embezzlement from government programs, the negative impact that the three-tier contract system, 20% here, 20% there, 20% there, only 40% left to do the work. This has to stop. And that is why I'm happy that we have a leader like Mark Golding, a man of integrity, a man of character, a man who does not see the budget as a purse to rob, but as a man who will invest in the country with all his effort and his ability to make Jamaica a better place. The People's National Party is coming to change the face of Jamaica. The People's National Party is going to put in order all the industries where they ought to be. We face challenges in healthcare. When you look across the country, and Dr. Dawes said it, the level of technological and innovational inputs that we need is just not there. In Montego Bay, where I am, the Cornwall Regional Hospital is a disgrace. CT scan, people have to leave the hospital to go get that done privately. Sometimes not even a simple x-ray they can get done at the hospital, and this has to change. Our young people are disenfranchised from the current way they are being taught. They are seeing the future ahead, and we are holding them in the present and the past. With the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, AI, Internet of Things, now more than ever, we have to position our people to take full advantage of where the world is going. And let me take you back down memory lane. In 1950, technology represented 0% of China's GDP. At that time, countries recognized the technological boom that the world was going to embark on. China, Singapore, Japan, Hong Kong, Taiwan, even the simple United States took full advantage to include technology in all their industries. So you're talking about technology in healthcare, technology in education, technology in agriculture, technology in finance, which is very important. Fast forward to today, technology represents over 32% of China's GDP. If I were to ask you what percentage of Jamaica's GDP is technology today, you could not answer. And you cannot answer because it is not measured. So the first thing we have to do is to do an audit of the technological inputs that are needed to assist each industry to improve on their output. In order for us to infuse technology, we have to have the human capital to do so. Over 25,000 Jamaicans migrate every year, our youngest and our brightest. When other countries have programs in place to attract youngest and brightest and to keep the youngest and brightest, Jamaica have programs in place to deter the youngest and brightest from even participating in the labor market. So many people see me and say, Andre, what are you doing in Jamaica? The country is so backward, your skills are so forward, come here. And I say to them, I did my PhD between 2007 and 2011 when the world itself was going through a huge financial crisis. When the world is going through a financial crisis, you tend to wonder what is the impact that this crisis is going to have on your island home. And I thought about it, and much of my research speaks about it. Look at how asset prices impact the economy. Looks at the interest rate pass through from the central bank to the commercial bank to the consumer. And what we have been seeing is that over the last 5 years, macroeconomic policy, especially monetary policy, has not been facilitating to growth. And what do we mean? We have what is called reactive monetary policy. So we only change interest rates when America changes interest rates. I said to them, listen, if we want to boost output, we have to make investments cheaper for our investors. What is the price of investment? It is the interest rates. So if you are coming out of COVID-19 and you believe that you need to increase interest rate to prevent capital flight, you also have to understand that that increase in interest rate is going to deter investment. Because when a man has interest rates of 6%, it's easier for him to borrow money than an interest rate of 10%. So we have to now understand that money is the engine of growth where investments are concerned. So the central bank also has a role to play in facilitating how the economy grows. We have to begin to look at how fiscal and monetary policy can work together to create the change that Jamaica needs. Fundamentally, and it's not just a Jamaica problem, intra-regional trade in the Caribbean is less than 10%. The lowest in any trading bloc across the world. When you talk about intra-regional trade, you're talking about trade between countries. In Europe, intra-regional trade is over 40%. Why? Because you have Germany making the cars and they sell the cars to the rest of Europe. Then you have France making the wine and the liquor. They sell that to the rest of Europe. Italy is making the fashion. They sell that to the rest of Europe. England make the empty containers, send them to your country, full them and then take it back. So each country is producing a product that is demanded by the other countries around them, and as a result they can trade and earn an income. In the Caribbean, most of us produce the same goods, and as a result it makes it very difficult for us to trade amongst ourselves. A couple of years ago I wrote a paper, myself, Dr. Emmanuel and Dr. Knife, establishing the Caribbean cannabis economy. It's in drug and alcohol policy today. You can go and check it out. We recognize that the cannabis industry, ganja of which we speak, has the potential to earn for Jamaica over $11.1 billion US per year, which is over like 70% of our GDP. And not just for us, for other Caribbean countries to come into play based on their topography. We can grow a type of ganja that is good for Alzheimer's over in St. Vincent. We can grow a type of ganja that is good for cancer over there in Dominica. We can grow a type of ganja that is good for ADSD over there in St. Kitts. And we can grow a type of ganja that is good for a different type of cancer in Jamaica. And we can trade amongst each other where those medicines are concerned. We have to begin to think about the goods that possess value. We cannot expect at any stage to want to produce low-valued goods and trade it for high-valued imports from abroad. We cannot expect to grow low-valued agricultural crops and trade them for high-valued technology goods from abroad. Jamaica has a lot of potential, and as a government, the People's National Party is dedicated to dichotomizing, breaking down the challenges that we face economically and putting the buffers in place to ensure that Jamaica does not remain on this 1% that it has been on over the last 40 years. Time come for better industries. Time come for infusing technology in our industries. Time time come for leadership who understand the challenges of the country. Time come for us to recognize that out of many, we are one people. And it's not just providing resources for the rich, but it's providing resources to elevate the poorer class of people and move them up into what we call the middle class. And it is our mantra. The middle class now, based on my estimation, is 10%. We need to bring that to 50%. And this PNP government is dedicated to improving Jamaica's middle class and to raise our standard of living and our income from a mere $7,000 per annum to over 13,000 US dollars per annum. And it is achievable. Time come for change. Time come for difference. Have a wonderful evening, comrades.
Thank you very much, Comrade Andre. Doreen, are you left-handed or right-handed? You're right-handed. Are you left-sighted or right-sighted? Both sides. So, because Damien right-sided, and I was standing to his left, and Andre right-sided, and I was standing to his left. So since you are ambidextrous, no matter where I stand up, please welcome Comrade Doreen Campbell. She's bringing the heat on tourism. You see, our leader is a gentleman. By the way, yesterday was International Women's Day. Happy belated International Women's Day to the ladies in the audience and to the lady who now comes to the podium.
Thank you, my comrade brother, moderator from St. Catherine, which has already indicated that no matter how they gerrymander, he is still going to give them a political backsliding over there. Comrades, comrade party leader and next Prime Minister of Jamaica, Mark Jefferson Golden, hurry up. Them take too long. Them get a fake poll, and the fake poll said them was 5% ahead, but them still never call it. Still never call it. The man of the moment and the next member of parliament for Eastern Portland, Comrade Isat Buchanan. I want to recognize a gentleman that I've only seen on TV. And because of Comrade Isat Buchanan's initiative, I am blessed to stand on the podium with him. And I want to say a big welcome to the most beautiful parish of Jamaica. I want to welcome you, Comrade Ralph Gonzalez, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is Portland at its best. You know, comrades, I wrote what I wanted to say because you don't see me very often on the platform like the speakers before me. So I make sure to write down the things I wanted to say. But comrades, I also, before I go any further, want to recognize my fellow colleagues. My fellow colleagues in the house. I see when Comrade Damien come in, the place get excited. Dr. Dawes, Dr. Andre. But most importantly, I want to recognize you, the comrades who came out this evening to support the initiative of Comrade Isat Buchanan. Comrades, it's important. It is very important, comrades, to bring the heat this evening. while speaking, we have to emphasize the failure of a member of parliament of 18 years to develop any industry and any meaningful employment or any way of living for the people of West Portland and now East Portland. To the honored guest here, we must bring the heat by putting forward plans by the next PNP administration to grow the economy of Portland and to move the people, our people, from a low-tech, low-growth, and low-income economy. The present administration, ladies and gentlemen, broke ground the other day. I don't know how many of you remembered. They broke ground the other day, just up the road by the courthouse, that they were going to erect an urban center. All that is going to do is move jobs from uptown to downtown, or from downtown to uptown. Depends on how you want to look at it. But I'm calling on the government, and as a matter of fact, them times soon up. So, comrade leader, let me address you with this. The next PNP administration don't need to focus on that urban center. Whatever resources that is allocated to the parish of Portland should be spent on developing the East Harbor right here in Port Antonio. Comrade leader, the East Harbor, once developed, is capable of docking megaliners that carries 4,000 to 5,000 passengers at a time. The urban center, comrade leader, it won't bring any new jobs. It won't bring any new money. But just close your eyes for a minute and think what an injection of 5,000 visitors disembarking at the dock on the East Harbor, what it means for the economy of East and Western Portland. Comrades and friends, because I know we have not just comrades here. I see a whole heap of orange, but I know we have other persons here. But we're beamed all over the world. So I want to also acknowledge those online. We have natural resources and attractions here in Portland. We have the Blue Mountain Bicycle Tour in the west, Somerset Falls in the west. And let me just put on notice that it is my intention to develop the community of Chelsea in the Swift River Valley as one of the newest attractions to Portland. We have rafting, ladies and gentlemen, comrades all. We have rafting on the Rio Grande. We have Reach Falls, Nanny Falls, the Blue Lagoon. We have the world famous Boston Jerk, None Such Cave, Moortown Maroons in the east, and my own Charlestown Maroon in the west. So heritage tourism, it is at our fingertips. Actually, UNESCO has named the Blue and John Crow Mountains as a World Heritage Site, which is located, Sir Ralph, right here in Portland. Therefore, ecotourism will be a central focus of the next PNP administration. We are excited about the flora and the fauna and the hundreds of herbs with medicinal properties that is found in this area. We have also different species of birds and the swallowtail butterfly, which can only be found in the Blue and John Crow Mountains. Just a little bit of history today. Comrades, to my right is 78 acres of land that we call Navy Island. That Comrade Shaka fame. A lot of you kind of get used to Comrade Shaka fame talking about the World Reggae Park and statue of reggae icons. We can actually repeat it because him said it so many times. The Bob Marley Suite, the Rita Marley Spa, and so on. But comrades, it is a project that is worth exploring. But in Western Portland, we have, comrade leader, the Ken Jones Aerodrome that looks beautiful on the outside. It looks like it contributes something to Portland from the outside, but actually doesn't bring any serious value, whether visitors or financial, to the parish of Portland. Therefore, the next PNP administration will speed up the feasibility study that they have been taking forever. Since 2009, they seem to have been doing a feasibility study, and the feasibility study says that the 400 additional feet that is needed is not worth the development. And if it's therefore not worth the development, comrade leader, Portland is a parish with a lot of land, available land. And it is important for the future development of tourism in Portland that, just like the Ian Fleming's Airport in St. Mary, that Portland be afforded an airport that can land passenger planes of a certain size, just like the Ian Fleming's Airport. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades all, the next PNP administration will expand tourism beyond all-inclusive resorts to include community-based tourism. This model will drive rural development, ensuring tourism dollars stay within the local community and give Jamaicans a direct stake in the benefits of tourism. The next PNP administration will truly transform the parish of Portland by investing in modern infrastructure, including, and I know some people take praise, comrade leader, comrade Isat, some people take praise the beautiful highway or the road that comes down into Port Antonio. But when it was conceptualized, they were not even considered. But the next PNP administration will improve the inner roads to enhance accessibility to a number of these attractions that is located inland. The next PNP administration will ensure that the two major clinics that now exist, one in Port Antonio and the other one in Buff Bay, is upgraded to an urgent care facility operating 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 12 midnight. That way, it will ease the burden on the Port Antonio Hospital and the Anata Bay Hospital. And I'm glad I'm only here to talk on tourism because my heart is full when it comes to health care in the western side of Portland. Because we don't have no hospital, we don't have a proper clinic down there, and every single baby that is born from Western Portland, comrade leader, they have to either rush to Port Antonio Hospital, or most of them, comrade leader, unfortunately, is born in the parish of St. Mary. We don't have no baby born in a West Portland. Nowhere. But I am not here today to speak about that. The next PNP administration will relocate the Hope Bay Police Station back to its original place, which is the center of the town. That way, it is better able to provide security for businesses and the residents. Most importantly, we will explore legislation to earmark specific local tourism zones where Jamaicans, Portlanders, entrepreneurs, and small business people are given priority for investment and ownership. This legislation will ensure that all tourism businesses in this zone remain majority owned by Jamaicans. And comrade leader, the next PNP administration, as I said earlier, will be taking a look at healthcare and medical tourism. Let me explain what that means. Portland, when you breathe, you don't breathe pollution, carbon monoxide, like if you go to Kingston and other places. The air here is pure. It is perfect for assisted living facilities. I don't know how many people understand when I say assisted living facility, what it means. But a lot of persons, when their families become older, they're not able to take care of them. So they want to pay somebody to take care of them. So a community is developed with a helipad on top and allow persons from far and wide to be able to take their elderly here in Portland to live out their very last days comfortably. Time come for a comprehensive plan and a comprehensive look, comrades. We have to look at the street people and those of unsound mind from the street, on the streets of Port Antonio, and ensure a suitable home is found for them. Time come now for the public roads to the Blue Lagoon to be open to all. Time come now for Portland to receive its fair share of the national tourism advertising budget. The hoteliers need our help, comrade leader. The Juta tour operators need our help. The craft vendors need our help. And the Airbnb operators, they need our help. Time come now for Portland to receive its fair share of the tourism enhancement fund so we can beautify our towns and have better roads leading to our different attractions. Citizens of Portland, time come for new leadership. We have a family that have been in charge. We have a family that have been in charge of the parish for the past 18 years that showed great disrespect the other day by calling this beautiful parish Vaasland. After all that we have been through with slavery, with the Maroons running away from the plantation, they are now saying that we are living on their plantation. We refuse to live on any plantation, and we call on the people of East and West Portland to return these two constituencies to the People's National Party. Where over here we have Comrade Isat Buchanan, and in the West you have yours truly, Doreen Campbell. The time for change is now. Time for change is now. And the time for change is upon us. I thank you. The word is love.
Thank you, Comrade Campbell. All right, so comrades, by the way, I have some persons watching on the live. So let me just say quickly to Comrade Shernet Appleby, a special good evening. And to the other comrade, a female comrade who says, don't call my name, who warned me not to interrupt Comrade Doreen Campbell until she done. Or I could not pass back over the causeway. However, she did her presentation in perfect timing. We're going to change it up a little bit more. We're going to have a cultural rendition given to us by the Moortown Maroons. So we are going to be doing a little bit of shifting on the stage. When we return, we are going straight into the premium time of this evening, where our presenters will be the incoming Prime Minister of Jamaica, the current Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the next Member of Parliament for Portland Eastern, Comrade Isat Buchanan.
Jam breaker, jam, moko, jam breaker, jam breaker. Oh, day, 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 oh, day. Maroon making, moko jam, moko jam, moko jam, moko jam. Ode, 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 kawu kawu, kawu kawu, kawu kawu, kawu kawu, kawu kawu, kawu kawu, ode, 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 kawu kawu, kawu kawu, kawu kawu, kawu kawu.
Money boy, in a money boy, somebody be say, somebody boy, in a money boy, in a money boy, somebody be say, somebody boy, somebody. Dana shoot, dana shoot, dana shoot, dana shoot, somebody boy, somebody be say, somebody boy, somebody boy. Money, mister. Money boy. Money boy. Money boy. Money boy. Money, mister. Money boy. Money boy. Dana shoot. Dana shoot. Dana shoot. Dana shoot. Dana shoot. Money boy. Money boy.
Can someone on the media platform say if this position is okay? All right, so we're going to ask our special guest to remain where you are because of the light on the inside of the stage where the podium was. The speaker appeared in silhouette. So we're doing some engineering adjustments. Yes, you can. Thank you very much. So, we've started to receive the questions as requested, and we're going to be doing the question and answer section soon enough. But for now, I'm going to ask us, after especially that invigorating performance by the Moortown Maroons, to be upstanding and let us acknowledge not only the performers, but let us prepare ourselves, our minds and our bodies, as we get the presentations now from the incoming Member of Parliament for East Portland. So please stand and give him a rousing round of applause as he comes to the podium. Isat Buchanan, and I can actually now call him Isat, my comrade brother, because normally when we appear together, we can't use our first names, which our first name is Comrade. I'm going to introduce him in a very succinct way. He exemplifies the belief that every human being is entitled to a second chance. His career, relatively short in his chosen field, the legal profession, can be characterized in one word: possible. Where many persons would say the cases he has led that a positive outcome was impossible, Isat has shown that indeed it is possible. Comrade Doreen made an interesting analogy. Never thought about it before. One person in particular loved to talk about the 18 years. Tonight we can tell him the next time him open his mouth about 18 years, look at the man in the mirror, because he has had 18 years and Portland has suffered for that. She gave another analogy about the work of Nanny and others to liberate us from estate living, and now to come in 2025 and to be told that all of us are on their estate. If one person can do the possible, which is to liberate East Portland and lift his sister's chances of liberating West Portland, please welcome your liberator, Comrade Isat Buchanan.
Blessings, blessings, and greetings. And it's always a pleasure to see so many people gathered in one place, knowing that we are fighting for the same cause, change for Jamaica. And we are fighting to ensure that the future of our children and the generations that follow is one that is bright, one that is orange, and one that is filled with the endless amount of possibilities. So as I greet the next Prime Minister of Jamaica and say welcome to Portland from Isat Buchanan, and as I greet the world boss himself, soon to be the 6-star general from St. Vincent, Comrade Ralph Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent, I say welcome to East Portland. To the future ministers and future member of parliaments that sit among us, the greatness that is Jamaica's future. As well as I'm saying a special welcome to my visitor, and I will ask you to stand, Minister Brewster, and put you on live to let them know that this medical doctor is a professional politician because the people needs him. That is the type of energy that we are bringing to Portland Eastern and Portland Western. It's one Portland, never Varsland. And as I right now summon the spirit of Nani, and I have brought the Maroons here from all the way of a compound. Chief, I'm asking you to stand. Your presence and greatness is among us. Chief Sterling, I know you're here somewhere, but let me tell you something. Yes, Chief, bring the drummers for me. And I know I wasn't deaf, but I hear broke the vase. And my foot just a go so. And I see Doreen foot just a go so. So just remember that. If you never hear it, I know 2 people right now that shiver every time and very nervous. They're looking in the gleaner and they're nervous. I'll soon tell you why. But I come to talk to you tonight about vision. And don't worry, I know David say, even when him think it, them steal it. Well, there are some people that when they speak it into existence, there are those who can't copy it. There are those who can't bring it into reality. I am one of those persons, and everything I say tonight will come to pass. And I want to start with the youth of Portland. Because no matter how it is, everywhere we go across Jamaica, there is a disconnect in terms of including the youth as the future. If you don't believe me, the Prime Minister have a habit of labeling the youth of this country violence contributors. If they get themselves in trouble, they say, meet the judge or meet your maker. All of these are statements that is an attack on the Constitution, the right to life. I will call it no other thing but incitement to murder. It must be rejected. Now, the future of the youth of Portland is what we must invest in. And to do so, we have to see them, we have to speak to them, and we have to encourage them, even when they're falling short in the education department. We have to set them back on that train to ensure that they get that education. How is it that we're going to do that? We meet them halfway, certainly not by telling them to rub out them hand middle. We're rejecting that. We're mashing that down and we're broken vase for that. Yes? I rebuke it. Oh, no. Ball! All right. But no, listen. In keeping with what is my belief, that no matter what you go through in life, and I'm talking to the youth right now, because I know they see me, because I am them and they are me, just like I am you and you are me. Your future is what God has set for you. Let no man speak any negativity into your life. And so in order to do that, you have to believe in yourself and you have to set yourself on a path. But what is the path? Well, you must get some government assistance and you must have a strong advocate to say, Mr. Prime Minister, yes, man, pressuring me, I can't go back to my constituency unless we have something for the youth. Yes. And the answers that come from that is your future. That is what you need. A member of parliament who will ensure that you are included. I am your voice. Currently, you have no voice at all. And while there are some that can dance their way to the prosperity, the true meaning of upliftment will come from strong advocacy. And that is my message to the youth. Now, when it comes to education, you have heard from the next education minister. I don't need to take it any higher, but to say there is equity in education, a sense of ensuring that every single child have access to the opportunity to become the best versions of themselves. How to do that? Well, I came to Portland Eastern and I identified that in 2025, a part of a positive education or a strong access to education is the technology, access to technology. So I am committed to complete what people say is the impossible, to ensure that every child in Portland Eastern has a tablet. And I've been doing good so far because we're at 1,000 plus tablets. Now, while it is that Mr. Crawford is the education minister, it does not stop me and prevent me as your next member of parliament from adopting a school. So I don't want the other schools to be jealous, but Fair Prospect High School is a school that I have chosen to adopt. And here is why. It has been labeled the dunce school. And we have to break that lie, mash that down, and ensure that the children have the type of internal locus of control, that thing, they call it vavavoom, oomph, to feel that they too can compete in the market. They don't have to dream of Titchfield only. They don't have to dream of Compre. They don't have to say, I wonder if one day I can go to Campion, because the quality education is right here in their school where they are assigned to, Fair Prospect High School. And I want you to vision that for your children, so that when they say, listen, I want to be an attorney, you don't worry about the money. Tell them to have the qualifications and the rest will come. Because certainly that's what happened in my life. And I want that for your children. Now, agriculture. Because some people say, boy, Mr. Buchanan, you love to talk about this education thing, but me as a man will like work for my own and I'm good at this. You always have to meet the people with the skill sets that they have and then show them how to improve on that. How are we going to do that? Always. Everything I'm talking about. I hear Miss Sherry over there, she going to say, we want money. We need money to do everything. So if people are farming, they need the assistance. We are in a parish where water is running rampant through streams and waterfalls and rivers. And guess what? It drying at the pipe. If you're not by the water, you're dead for thirsty. And when we talk about buying water, I did say and, not and. Because you have to buy it from the vase truck in a what them call vase land, and the last time I checked is Portland. So we have to ensure that what we think about is catchment areas. How do we go about, not the areas where we're simply going to just turn on the pipe when I win, but how we are going to channel the water, catch the water, store the water. And without giving out that plan, I'm going to tell you that it is a simple fix. And fret not thyself. So if you love water, just vote for me. I promise you will be all right. If you like beard, vote for me. Now, we talk about economics, and I listen to Dr. Harton, and me not understand not the way I say still, but it sounds good. And it always, you know, it really takes just a little bit of competence to know when you're fooling in some areas. So there is currently in the government, this current government like to put the PR minister for Minister of Health, the health doctor for the Minister of Security. That's why crime is so high, because I don't know nothing. So when you know that you don't know nothing, you seek the professionals. What I can tell you is that the economy in Portland Eastern, right as I'm talking to you, is dead. We now have none. Yes? The business owners by themselves are keeping offered to Portland Eastern. What does that look like? Well, while your prime minister is running around saying, I have one house here, and there's confusion whether the person has the title and the fee simple ownership to pass to the next generation. We have a man on this stage in a country similar situated as Portland Eastern and Portland Western, Portland Parish, that is building 2,800 houses since Beryl. Beryl that just passed. And while your government says, is Beryl it's not a recession, it's not a compression, it's not any ession. The reality is your government has failed you. And that is why time comes for change. Now, everything when we're bringing the heat is tied and connected, so I don't have to repeat. But when we speak of health, and I'm ending at the health part, mental health is an area that people do not understand, but it's so important because we are nothing without our health. And if our health is neglected, it is tied and attached to our right to life. This government is stifling your life, a healthy life, a mentally healthy life. And when you think of your brothers and sisters, whether it be at school age or thereafter, who was never assessed for learning disabilities, for different mental disorders, it is because the government, as it is right now, does not understand it. And while it is, they may have senators that think they are qualified to diagnose, reject it, because insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And so there can be no third term, none. That is what you're going to mash down. Reject it. And how we come together as the people of Portland Eastern, and I know Jamaica at large as I speak to you, I'm going to tell you something about Duppy's story and the truth. I'm going to tell you something about what is the facts, and you must check it. Don't make media turn it and twist it and flip it and reverse it. And a music, your life is not a musical. Reject it. So let's start this way. It is a fact that we are in a recession. Anything else is Duppy's story. It is a fact that in Portland Eastern,
Them take away Blue Lagoon from the men who used to make a living there. It is a fact. Me not come off of the Blue Lagoon yet. Me not have no villa down there. So I'm going to tell you something why I can talk up for you. It is a fact that the road that is blocked by a security company that nobody wants to admit who is paying them. Yes, it is a fact that that road is a parish council road and the parish council has the responsibility to give you complete access to it. Anything else is dopey story. Don't matter how much time you put press releases in the media. Reject it. Dash it away. You can't twist and flip and reverse the truth. It is a fact that while I am speaking to you, this beautiful parish, Prospect fishing village is being taken away from the young men and women who have lease agreements and who have their businesses that they strive and survive from. It is a fact that Winifred Beach, some umpy-scumpy things going on there. More to come. It is a fact that Sanko Beach is taken away from the people, regardless of the arrangement. It is a fact that everything that is beautiful that belongs to you, you are being disenfranchised from this current government and your MP is incapable of advocating for you. Yes, it is a fact that anything and anyone who come and try to refute anything I just said is giving you a dopey story. I'm going to tell you one more fact because it's not only Uni watching. It is a fact that any member of parliament or any person who feel in 2025 you can play the race card on one of the blackest man in the land who will be your next prime minister, you is a dunce. Do that and beat me. Make sure you're looking at the camera. So you see, right now, I hear people talk about you're going to rub out and you're going to do this. Just call the election because I promise you, it is a fact I will be your next MP. After the election is called, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of healing. And I'm saying to every citizen of Portland, Portland is for you. Every person who not yet a comrade, come home. Yes? Those who are angry, come home. Those who were bamboozled and tricked, come home. Those who were given a t-shirt with a little something in it, come home. Don't take it this time. Dash with that. Send them out of the parish. Run them out. We hear about cockroach. We hear about the lie them. So what I say? Rebuke them. Rub them out. Run them out. Mash them down. Broke the vase. That is what we are here to do. And anybody who is afraid of me, I am here to advocate to you. Your free speech is yours. Say anything you want, come me, I go come to court and defend you for free. The word is love. Don't take it lightly, you know. Because right now, this is the most important candidate to Isat Buchanan next to Isat Buchanan.
You hear the sound, so? You hear the sound, so?
Comrades, talk about bringing the heat. When Comrade Doreen Campbell spoke, she expressed gratitude to Comrade Isat for this forum. And I'm going to do the same. The first time I spoke to our next speaker, I was co-hosting with Anthony Abrahams on the Breakfast Club. He had been accused of meddling in the politics of Jamaica. and he refuted, rebuked it, and said, he is as Jamaican as any Jamaican is, because he's a Caribbean man. Let us put our hands together and welcome Comrade Ralph Gonzalez.
Comrade Chairman, the President of the People's National Party, Mark Golden, my friend and brother and comrade, Isat Buchanan, and all our friends and comrades and warriors present here. I came to Jamaica yesterday for one principal purpose: to speak at the University of the West Indies to students on the issue of leadership. Isat, of course, whom I got to know personally last year, asked me if I can stay on and attend this event. And of course, I agreed to be at this forum. I came to Jamaica 59 years ago. I know Jamaica more than 80% of the people here listening to me, because I've been here before you. I don't know how many of you landed at Palisadoes in September 1966 before that. I don't know how many of you. Damien, you never land Palisadoes before me. And I was a student at the University of the West Indies for 5 years, from 1966 to 1971, where I did a first degree and a graduate degree. And I went away and did a PhD and returned in 1974 and taught at the University of the West Indies for 2 years here in Jamaica, and then was transferred to Barbados to teach at Cave Hill. And in 1979, I took a sabbatical and returned to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to assist the progressive forces who are engaged in the struggle for independence. And after we achieved independence, the government in Barbados declared me persona non grata, that I couldn't return to Barbados. I had a woman and a child, Jamaican woman. And I decided, well, if that is so, I will continue my political activism. And there are many countries in the region in 1979 which prevented me from entering. I was born a rebel. I was born with a rebel seed. I was a young rebel. I am today an old rebel. Wiser, more experience, and know how to do things fairly well. There are a lot of things to rebel against. A lot of things to do better. Poverty, poor health, unemployment, insecurity, crime. And you may be asking, well, why is it that this old man continues? I'm 78 years of age. And I do not intend to leave behind any unfinished task. I have been Prime Minister now for 24 years. From 2001. By the end of this year, when we go to the polls again, I would have served almost 25 years as the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The People's National Party and the Unity Labour Party and its predecessor, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Labour Party, have had party-to-party links going way back since the federal days. Were part of the West Indies Federal Labour Party. And of course, as a student in Jamaica, I was very much involved in political activities, and I knew Michael very well, and we corresponded. He was my friend. He was my comrade. He was my mentor. Now, I became president of the Guild of Students in 1968. And as a consequence of my role as a student leader, when the then government, headed by a good person, Hugh Lawson Shearer, was Prime Minister, the government decided to ban Walter Rodney on October the 15th. He had attended a Black Writers Conference in Montreal, Canada, and on his return, he was prevented from re-entering Jamaica. Had his wife here with a child, and his wife was pregnant. And when I heard about it the evening, I mobilized the students on and off the campus. And the next day, we marched in our thousands and were joined by thousands of Jamaicans of all walks of life to protest. We were beaten and tear-gassed. You can read about it. I've written about it. There's a monograph I've written. It's on Amazon. You can buy it, or you can find it in the library anywhere at the university here. And the campus was under siege for 2 weeks. When I say under siege with guns. And then we returned to classes. And shortly after we returned to classes, Sir Philip Sherlock, then Vice Chancellor, a great man, told me that the Jamaican government said that I was a security risk and that I had to be deported. And he made arrangements for me to complete my university education at University of the West Indies in Trinidad. I went to the Faculty of Social Sciences where I was enrolled. Bruce Golding, my friend, was in that class. And I told Bruce, he said, no, they're making a big mistake. So he went to the office of the Secretary of the Economics Department and telephoned Eddie Siaga, who was then Minister of Finance and at Vale Royal. And Siaga invited Bruce, myself, and another Jamaican to come to dinner that evening. When I went to dinner that evening, Hugh Shearer called, and I spoke with him, and he said that they will reverse the order. So my friend Bruce Golding saved me from being deported from Jamaica. Sometimes when we got into conflict with one another in CARICOM, because sometimes our politics didn't see eye to eye. He said the worst decision I ever make is to save you from deportation from Jamaica. Now, when I came to the university in 1966, it had only been 5 years since Jamaica had voted to leave the Federation in a referendum. And when I came, the students from down in the Eastern Caribbean told me how Jamaicans don't like people from the Eastern Caribbean. The ghost of the federal past was still hovering like a nightmare. But I never like to take what people tell me. I like to find out for myself. And I began to travel all over Jamaica. I used to go on weekends, go up to Papine, the two buses which used to leave Papine to go downtown into Kingston. One was number 7. You remember the big Jolly Joe bus? Number 7 would take you past halfway through, go down to 3 Mile. And the number 6 could take you to Crossroad and go downtown, and you could stop Crossroad. And you can take the bus and you can come through Yalas, Port Moran, coming right round to Port Antonio. And I used to put a change of clothes in my bag and my swim trunks. And I will go with no money in my pocket other than my bus fare. And every single Friday night and Saturday night, including in Port Antonio, they had a dance, a fete. And I will go, on every occasion, somebody will take me home. I was taken home in Port Antonio too. I know what's going through your head, but rebuke that thought. And I discovered that the Jamaican people, full of love. And I had to tell my brethren and sisters from the Eastern Caribbean, y'all not reaching out. You have something in your head and you let that torment you. And I went with some other students in January of 1967 organized with the Cosmos of Westmoreland. I was in Jamaica only 3 months. And I went down there with about 20 other students. And we spent nearly 3 weeks. And I did laboring work, helping to build a day nursery down in Savlamar. It is when I went down there that there was a lady from Westmoreland, was also a student. I really didn't know her before. And I saw that maybe she was more interested in bringing water for me. And as the Holy Scriptures say, some begatting took place. And the young man who came forth is currently the Minister of Finance in my government, my son. Camilo. I give you the shortened version of my involvement. I give you the King James version. Rastaman, I ain't get the Maccabees. If I get the Maccabees, we're going to stay here all night. Now, I read about this Buchanan fella. How he was so persistent with Vibes Cartel. And that he won a case at the Privy Council when everybody thought it was impossible. But I didn't really pay any attention other than that. You know, I listen to Vibes music. I like it. I'm wearing Clarks. I don't want Popcorn get vexed with me. He's a Clarks man too. So my secretary told me that Isaac Buchanan is on the phone. So I said, put him through. He said, Prime Minister, I am Isaac Buchanan, a lawyer from Jamaica. I had to put him at ease. He was very formal. I said, tell me something. You are related to the Redskin Buchanan them in St. Elizabeth who does support the PNP? He tell me yes. I said, go on, talk. Tell me what it's about. And he told me about the illness of Vibes Cartel. And that he had heard that we had a special facility in my country and that we had specialists in endocrinology dealing with hyper and hypothyroidism and internal medicine. I told him, yes, we have some Cuban and Indian experts. And if he wanted to come, it's fine with me. I will have him facilitated to get treatment. And I told him, and you'd remember this. And I told Vibes the same thing, told Cartel the same thing. I said in the book of the prophet Micah, the question was posed and answered. What does the Lord require of us? To do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. I said, the act which I'm doing for Cartel is an act of mercy. Because all of us, we are on the dangerous road to Jericho. And we don't know who is going to be robbed on the highway. Who is going to need his or her wounds to be bunged? Because remember, priest passed by. The Levites walked by. The Levite is a public servant, you know. Well, the lawyer passed by. I wasn't surprised at that. Except the lawyer named Isat. Except the lawyer named Isat. But along came the good Samaritan. You know, there are a lot of men who preach things even inside of the church and don't preach it right, you know. That is why Bob Marley said, I feel like bombing a church because the preacher, I found him that he was lying. So some light, but you have many, many good preachers, most of them good. No. He said the cartel is here. And he wanted to talk to you. And he came on. And he said, Vincy World Boss, the Jamaican world boss talking to you. I said, tell me. We spoke and he came. I know a lot of persons were surprised across the Caribbean. I got calls. How you can do this? Well, I just explained to you about the book of Micah. But Vibes then decided to tell me something that I knew that the Holy Spirit had guided me correctly. He said, you know, Prime Minister, I have a child with a woman whose mother is from St. Vincent. I said, what is the woman's family name? He tell me Cabral. I said, what is she first name? She told me. I said, that woman is my family. You hear me? And then I got confirmation by that the good Lord works in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. No, you can't use his defense of cartel to beat him with a stick. And anybody who does that would be wrong. I don't think that anybody is doing so. But persons may be tempted to do so, and that would be wrong. Tonight, I listened. Well, let me finish this part of the story with cartel. He came to St. Vincent, and the young entertainers said they wanted to meet him. So I organized a session. And the first thing that Vibes Cartel told them, it's there on YouTube, you can see it. He said, I don't know about jail in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but Jamaica jail is nice, and I spent 12 years. He said, I don't know any jail which is nice. So I want to tell all you young men and women, stay on the right side of the law. Do not get involved in any trouble. And stay away from jail. Well, a lot of those young persons, many persons, including priests and teachers and politicians, can't reach them. But he was able to reach them. And I thank him for that. You know, there was a man once. You can look him up, you can Google him. His name is John Newton. John Newton was the captain of a slave ship. And John Newton began a process of change, having had a conversation with an old man in a place called Sandy Point in St. Kitts, who told him that what he was doing was wrong. And he reflected on this conversation. And not too long afterwards, John Newton stopped this wicked act of transporting enslaved African bodies. He became an Anglican minister. And he penned one of the most powerful hymns ever in Christianity. And it's sung every day in our churches. Amazing grace. How sweet the song that saved a wretch like me. I once was blind. Brother Brewster, you're a preacher. And now I see. He emphasized that grace has saved him thus far. And grace will lead him home. The entire Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, and the New Testament, including the books of Maccabees and all those which were left out in the King James Version in 1611. All of them is preaching redemption. One of the most powerful songs that Bob Marley ever recorded was Redemption Song. You know, I heard my brother spoke about second chances. I'm not dealing with second chances. I'm dealing with redemption. Last night, a student asked me a question. Prime Minister, you have spoken a lot about leadership. Tell me in one word, what is the most important quality for a leader? And the vice principal of the university was sitting next to me. Said, Prime Minister, that's a difficult one. I said, no, actually it's easy. And I went to the microphone and told her the most important quality for a leader is love. If you don't love people, you can't lead them. And love is a never fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. When you love, volcano can't shake it, beryl can't shake it, tsunami can't shake it. I know nowadays a lot of people prefer another four-letter word. I wouldn't go there. But love, L-O-V-E, the most important quality. And a leader must have energy and will, vision and skill, plus an X factor. What is the X factor? It comes from love, you know. And what is this? A lot of leaders say important thing for them to do is to inspire. Inspire means to put in. And that's important. To put in goodness, high quality and nobility in persons whom you are leading. And relatively speaking, that is easy. The more important thing, the more difficult thing is not to put in, but to take out from the persons whom you are leading their goodness, their high quality, and their nobility. And often to take out their high quality, nobility, and to take it out often when they themselves do not yet know that they possess such high quality or nobility or goodness. Every single person here, every human being has in him or her goodness, high quality, and nobility. The question is how to take it out. Amen? And you can't take it out unless you have love. It's not easy. It's difficult because sometimes people don't even want you to help to take it out. But you have to help to take it out, nevertheless, because you love. Now, I am not getting involved here tonight with Jamaican politics. Let me just make that point. It's not I can't tell you to vote for Isat. And I wouldn't tell you that. I could tell you though that I've gotten to know him since that initial contact. And I consider him to be a good and worthy individual. I am not implying that anybody against whom he is contesting is unworthy. No, I'm not saying that. All I can say, and I can affirm, that he is a good human being and a worthy individual. And given his life experiences, to come to you and offer himself. Whether you vote for him, that is your business. And I'm looking on with great interest to see what will happen. By the way, don't feel that anybody could be offended with me being here. Because right now, in my country, a member of the Jamaica Labour Party who is a parliamentarian in a seat, a lady, I presume that she's a wonderful woman, from Manchester. She's in St. Vincent with the opposition party women organizing something, and all praise and glory to them. But we will meet sometime later this year for the 6th consecutive term. So I don't worry about those things. No. I was very impressed with all the speeches here tonight. I repeat that. And I was impressed because of the focus on two things. I closed my eyes and I was listening. Isat thought the old man wasn't feeling well. You say, "You all right, comrade?" I said, "I'm fine. And I heard the focus on interests of people and rights of people. Two important areas for any consideration by anybody in a democracy. Your interests, your material interests, those interests which touch and concern your life, living and production, but also your rights as a human being. I heard that coming through, and I was very impressed with all what I've heard. I can tell you, talking about this matter with vibes, because it touches on health. I support very strongly any health program which speaks to the decentralization of health, especially its diagnostic services. St. Vincent is a country of just 150 square miles. How many square miles Portland is? I don't think it's a lot different. In addition to the principal hospital in Kingston, the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, I'm currently building $100 million US acute care hospital just outside of Kingston, the capital city. It's going to be one of the top hospitals anywhere in the Eastern Caribbean. But I also have rural hospitals, and I have polyclinics. And it's not one place we can go to for X-ray or ultrasound or CT scan, including rural places with X-ray and ultrasound. And in my constituency of North Central Windward, which is on the east of the island, the northeast, we have built a complex. We have a playing field. We have a 24-hour clinic, smart clinic, with all primary health care services. Resident doctors, dentists, social worker. Well, I'm dealing there now with the clinic first. Then I have a smart hospital. This is a rural area now. And then I have a modern diagnostic, medical and diagnostic center. I have all the diagnostic tools there, including MRI. You come there, you can do an endoscopy for $12 US. You can do a colonoscopy for $12 US. People leave in Barbados and come there to do them. You hear what I'm telling you? I have operating theater. Is the headquarters for oncology in the country. We do chemotherapy there, we make the drugs there. We have a number of specialists in all the areas. That entire compound, with the playing field and those places which I just described, all told, it costs us over 75 million US dollars. It covers, intended to cover, a population of 40,000 persons, including the principal area of the indigenous people. And in addition, at that place, we provide free hemodialysis. I have 60 patients there doing hemodialysis. They cost just under 2 million US to keep them alive. I will not allow the poor and the working people to die because they cannot have dialysis. No. I hear people say, but things not possible. That modern medical and diagnostic center, 1:04 in the morning, about 3, 4 o'clock, Fidel and myself were shooting the breeze in Havana. We're all talking. And he said, I want to help you with a diagnostic center. I told him, yes, but not like one of them small one we build with Chavez. I want a special one. And they designed it, of course. We put our resources to build it. And we have many Cuban specialists there, different areas. Actually, you need to come and see it. Come and see it. Come and see it. Come and see it. Come and look for it. Come and see it. Come and see it, and you would see what it is. And you know, the opposition in St. Vincent said, I shouldn't build it there for 2 reasons. One, they said that the Soufre volcano is not too far away. And if it blows, it will mash it up. Well, the Soufre blew in 2021. It did some damage and I repair it. I got my house in the Soufre zone. I live a bush. I'm a bushman. I alone live up there in a bush. I live up there like a Rasta man but with internet. Rasta man need internet, you know. I have to connect with the world. The second reason they say, it's too far from town. You see a particular mentality? We have to decentralize our medical services. I'm talking about St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I'm not talking about Jamaica. I don't know what you're doing, but that's your business. I'm talking about St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You know, in a period of 10 years, I built in St. Vincent. And I tell you, when I say I built, permit me to just be modest on this occasion. Everybody thought that to build an international airport, I built an international airport on St. Vincent and I built a jet airport on Canavan. The only government in the Caribbean which built an international airport and a jet airport within a 10-year period. of each other. One complete in 2007, the other one complete in 2017. And I'm coming to where people say that things are impossible. Damien Binde, he came on campaign for his partner, Carlos James, the Minister of Tourism, who incidentally just gotten the prize for the Tourism Minister of the Year in the world. You saw that? Anyway, there's one place, properly speaking, we could have built an international airport. There's a place called Argyle. The problem is this though, is that it had 2 mountains and 2 hills. So I had to bring them low. I had 4 valleys to fill. I had a river and a stream to span. I had 140 middle and upper middle income houses to move and cause them to be built elsewhere. I had to move a church and a cemetery. I had to move a small hotel and 2 guest houses. And I had to do my work so that I don't destroy petroglyphs, writings, some which we knew were there and others which we discovered by the indigenous people. And to protect the writings of the indigenous people. It held me up a while. And when other persons telling me, man, move the thing, them, if you can't fix that up properly, I say, I will not build an international airport and let people call me a Philistine, that I destroyed the writings of the indigenous people. That's part of our patrimony. When I said we were going to build it, they said I was crazy. They even said they will make appointments with Dr. Debnat, who is the chief psychiatrist at the mental hospital. This madman has to be made an appointment. I went to the traditional sources. I went to the Caribbean Development Bank. No. I went to the European Union. No. The European Investment Bank. No. The agencies of the United States, Canada, Britain. No. I went to the World Bank. No. But I'm going to build it. I'm going to build it. Because you see, I read the book of Chronicles. And I know when David set about to prepare the materials to build the ark to house, the temple to house the Ark of the Covenant, he had criticism. And after he gathered everything and all the plans, God tell him, well, you can't build it because you're a man of war. You got to leave it to Solomon, your son. But I'm not a man of war. So I could do the plan and I could build it. Just like how people criticize David and Solomon for building the temple to house the Ark of the Covenant. They did that to me, you know. The Canadian ambassador, High Commissioner in Barbados and St. Vincent, came to me after, when we were nearing completion, when she was going back. She said they used to meet every month and say, they used to mock me. They say I was like the man from La Mancha, you know, in Cervantes' novel, Don Quixote, tilting at windmills. And she came to apologize. God give us a brain. And there are hidden resources. I call them hidden rationalities. These are material and human resources which are submerged. which are ill-utilized, badly managed. And these hidden rationalities, which constitute the core of the genius of our peoples, you can pull those out. And we set about that. And then, just like how David and Solomon had gone to friends nearby, for instance, to get the cedar of Lebanon. Because he didn't have any cedar. So I put a group where they're not even talking to one another. I had Cuba, Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago, Taiwan. None of them have relations with Taiwan. Mexico, Georgia, under President Saakashvili. Turkey, under Erdogan. Libya, under Gaddafi. Iran, under Ahmadinejad. Did I call Austria? And Austria. And of course, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I went to Iran. The Americans came to see me. So I asked them, I said to them, Iran is a country of 80 million people. You cannot isolate an ancient civilization. Iran, I told them, I asked the gentleman who came from the State Department, I said, would you please show me in the Hebrew Bible or the New Testament, show me where America is. Yeah, you say you don't understand the question. Because America is not in either them, either in the Old Testament or the New Testament. I said, go to the book of Daniel and you'll find Persia. And the Persian king, who was not a believer in the God of Abraham, got a man, Daniel, who was a believer in the God of Abraham, to be the chief administrator. We had a long religious and intellectual discussion and they left. And when I'm finished building it, I went to America, I went to Canada, and I went to Britain to use their external agencies. The executive, for instance, to borrow money to do the tower and to the airport and to buy the tree. I buy them from Nebraska with money from America with a low rate of interest. I pay them back. I built that airport, finish it in 2017. The value of it when we finish it was over $4 million US. But we spent about close to 300 million because we got some stuff in kind. Over 400 million. It would be the value, but we spent approximately close to 300 million US dollars. Right now, we owe less than 60 million US dollars, and I opened that airport in 2017. And because of that airport, the best sandals in the Caribbean is in St. Vincent. You hear me? So when they tell you about things impossible, Isat, don't bother. There was an area of 2 football fields wide where there was a trickle of a stream. But when rain in the mountain comes down and wash away everything that passed, you could only drive on the flow of the river to go across. That is what divided the bulk of the indigenous people from the rest. They say it was impossible to build a bridge there. We built a bridge there. And that has transformed the lives of the indigenous people north of the Dry River. So don't let anybody tell you about things impossible. I don't accept when you tell me it's impossible. You're only pushing me to find a creative solution. And too many times we leave things there because we say it can't be done. We have to have more faith in our people, more faith in the genius of our people. Faith is an important word. Love and hope, they have to be conjoined with faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of that which we have not seen. And we have to have faith. But we must know that you just can't sit down and just pray and have faith. You have to work. Because faith without works is dead. And when you're working, now everything can be done one time. Now everything could be done one time. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. But I never know anybody who ever climbs Suffolk Mountain or Blue Mountain in a straight line. You have to take zigs, you have to take zags. But when you're taking the zigs and the zags, you make sure that you're ending up in a dead end, that you're going to the mountaintop. And that bond has to be established between the people and their leadership. Over the years, of my 24 years, sometimes the people faulted, Sometimes it's my fault why they faulted. And sometimes it's their fault in not having enough buy-in on the vision. None of us is perfect. No. We have had in our country and make the determination whether this applies to Jamaica. The British came and took control of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 1763. And between then and the declining years of the 20th century, there was a colonial or amended colonial economy. What were the features of this economy? One, it depended on unlimited supplies of cheap labor, in the case of slavery, free labor. Unlimited supply of cheap labor, Damien. That's the first thing. Second thing, it was dependent on preferences abroad, whether sugar or bananas. It operated at a relatively low level of science and technology. I heard a lot of discussion about all those things. I'm just pulling them together. And there was insufficient infrastructure to propel the country. You have to change in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to a modern, competitive, decided, post-colonial economy, which is at once local, national, regional, and global. And every single one of those words is pregnant with meaning. So, what you have to do is to build this altered economy based on an unlimited supply of skilled labor priced at a level relevant to the International Division of Labor. Secondly, don't bother beat up your head about preferences. You have to be modern and competitive. And you have to use the cutting edge technologies. And you have to build infrastructure. No. That's what we are seeking to do in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A lot of what was discussed, I pull things together and put it there as to what we are doing. Before I leave, I want to say this. The Secretary of State of the United States of America has issued a statement that countries which are complicit in his words with trafficking in persons and exploiting Cuban professionals, the doctors and engineers who come, that those who are complicit would lose their passport, they lose their visas and their families. Now, I know we're not involved in any exploitation of Cuban workers. And I know that the Cubans are not involved either, the Cuban government. I know the arrangements. And I believe that the Secretary of State is a good and decent man. I would not say anything bad about him. I don't say things, it is not in my nature to say bad things about people unless I have the evidence. And I have no evidence. And he appears to me to be a good man. And if he knows the facts, I'm sure that he will understand that we are not involved in that. But if it is determined that you have to take away my visa and Eloise's visa, I want to say this publicly. It could be reported. I'm not looking for a fight with anybody. But we have to be honest and open. The hemodialysis which we do in St. Vincent at the Modern Medical and Diagnostic Center with these 60 persons, without the Cubans there, I will not be able to offer that service. So, does anybody expect that I to go because I want to keep a visa, that I would let 60 persons from the poor and working people to die? It will never happen. But I believe that the facts will show that we ought not to be worried about the strictures which they are talking about. I'm finishing. I talked too long already. I'm sorry, I talked too long already. Jeremiah once wrote something, the prophet. You don't know until it happens. And the voice of the people, it is said, is the voice of God. Jeremiah said, and God talked to him, before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you. I made you. I blessed you. I sanctified you. And I proclaim you prophet to all nations. Morning by morning, new mercies we see. All that we need, thy hand has provided. Great is thy faithfulness. Thank you very much, God.
Comrades, some people text me and say, you can stand up for Damien and you can show Andre you watch. But when Comrade Ralph talk, you're afraid to stand up. But being the consummate leader and a man fueled by love, Prime Minister, you were so kind that when I was brave enough to stand up, you said, and just before I end, your grace is not lost on me, sir. But comrades, when he was speaking, he says, what is the key thing that a leader must have? Love. He then said the leader must have the energy and the will and the X factor, which is to inspire, to enhance the high quality, the nobility within people, and to take it out of them, even when they themselves do not know they possess that quality or nobility or goodness. You can't achieve any of the above if you don't have love. If you don't have faith, which is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of that we can't see. If you don't have hope, which fuels the faith and keeps it flourishing. But faith without work is dead. And none of that exists without love. I think Comrade Ralph defined the qualities of our next speaker, our comrade leader, Jamaica's next Prime Minister, Comrade Mark Jefferson.
Yo, this is Bunchy God, the Viking of Soca. New time has come, new direction. Mark Golden, good vibes that he's holding. Yeah, check it. Clear the way when the big one's strolling. Hey! Ha! Mark Golden! Yeah. Huh! Mark Golden ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready.
Comrade Ralph, this Honorable Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Comrade Isat Buchanan, MP in waiting in this great constituency of East Portland. Big up to our moderator, Comrade Raymond Price. I have to big up Chief Curry and his entourage, Colonel Sterling of the Moortown Maroons. All of my comrades who are here, workers and warriors, supporters, and others who may be here at this historic event. First of all, I want to express my deep appreciation, gratitude, and respect to Comrade Isat Buchanan for putting on today's event. It has been an event of quality, an event of substance, and I'm sure each and every one of us is very, very happy that we took the time to be here this evening. You've heard about the heat. You've heard a sample of some of the critical things that the next People's National Party government will deliver for the people of Jamaica. In the critical areas of health, where our approach is not one of PR and hype, and a stick up in, you realize that all of what Comrade Ralph said was delivered in the health facility in his constituency, serving 40,000 people, which is a substantial portion of the population of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and was achieved for $75 million. Cornwall Regional Hospital, gone way past that and all now, can't open. And no heads don't roll under Andrew Holness government. And while I'm on the subject of comparisons, this government has taken the country through 9 years of disappointing performance in terms of economic growth. They promised 5 in 4. 5% growth would be achieved within 4 years. Nothing like that ever happened. We've been tottering along at around 1% growth. We collapsed during COVID. We came back to where we were. And since then, it's just been going downhill. And in 2024, as Comrade Dr. Andre Horton said, we had negative growth of over 1%. That means the economy got smaller last year. When we tell them how you account for that performance 9 years into your government, them say Beryl. Beryl destroyed the situation. Now the damage to the Jamaican economy under Beryl was around 1 to 1.5% of GDP. I don't expect everybody to follow that, but just note that number, 1 to 1.5% of GDP. The damage to St. Vincent and the Grenadines from Beryl was close to 30% of their GDP. And in 2024, the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines grew by nearly 5%, 4.8%. And we contract and get smaller by over 1%. And they're trying to blame Beryl. They cannot be trusted, comrades. Comrade Ralph, I want to thank you for the tremendous speech that you've delivered tonight. It's a speech that was wide-ranging. It was deeply personal in many respects, but it was international and global and regional in many other respects. It was profound in many respects, going to the core of who we are as human beings, what our purpose is in life, and what the role of leaders must be. And comrades, we are very blessed to have been here tonight to listen to this great Caribbean leader, Ralph Gonsalves. It is truly an honor, sir, to have been here tonight to listen to you. Comrades, I don't propose to make a big speech tonight. We've had a number of very informative, important messages from key spokespersons in the People's National Party Shadow Cabinet on portfolios which matter. We have had an incredible address by our guest speaker, a speech the like of which I haven't heard in many, many, many moons. It resonates in my mind with the tradition of our greatest orator, Michael Joshua Manley. Who Comrade Ralph himself described as a friend and a mentor. Comrades, all I want to say tonight is nothing is impossible. If we pull together and we support the candidates that we have with our full heart, mind, body, and soul. And we deliver the work that needs to be done. We will take back West and East Portland and put them in the columns of the People's National Party. And I am asking each of you, whatever may have happened in the past, whatever disappointments or disrespect you may have felt, in the interest of our great and noble movement, in the interest of the party that you love, put those things down. Let them go down. Step up, step up, rally behind Isat, rally behind Doreen, and make we take it to and deliver the victory that Jamaica wants for us. And comrades, Portland is a very special place. And we've heard some of the potentialities that exist in this very special place. It has tremendous historical significance as the place from which Nanny came, as it's in its unparalleled natural beauty. It has this wonderful harbor, and the other harbor we heard about over in the east. It has the attractions, so many of them, underdeveloped, but they're pristine and magnificent. And if we do the right things, if we deal with the infrastructure issues, and we roll out the proper plan, and we finance the construction of a proper terminal for larger cruise ships, we can transform the economy of Portland and make it the gem for Jamaica. So comrades, when them come with all of what them coming with, them all come with lie, them all come with misinformation, them all come with a bag of money, and them all come with other things. Just remember this. They don't have no plan to uplift Portland. They've had it for 9 years, and it is worse than it was that when they found it. The People's National Party is the party with the vision for development. Ralph and I come out of the same tradition of progressive politics in the Caribbean. And it is my intent, with the team of talent that I have, to deliver the transformational leadership that can take Jamaica out of being a low-wage, low-growth, low-tech economy that is stagnating, and to one where our people's talents are put to work, and we can build a great country here where people can have a decent quality of life, where they can enjoy good health care, top-class education, solid infrastructure, and a vibrant economy for them and their children and their grandchildren and generations to come. So comrades, don't take it simple. This election is important. This is Jamaica's chance to make a turnaround and a change. To move out of a situation where our leaders are mired in controversy, in corruption, to one where we have clean heart and clean hands, using the resources of the people for the benefit of the people only, and taking Jamaica forward to build an inclusive, sustainable economy where all of us can be part of it and where none of us is better than anyone else. That is what we stand for, comrades. That is the mission that we're on, and that is the mission that we're going to deliver whenever Andrew called this thing, because power for the people is what we say. Power for the people is what we will deliver. One love, comrades. God bless you all. The word is love.
Another round of applause for Jamaica's 10th Prime Minister. and for Comrade Ralph Gonzalez. And for your next Member of Parliament, Comrade Isat Buchanan. And keep the applause going because we are now going to have closing remarks by Chief Richard Curry of the Accompong Maroons.
Good night, everybody. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. I'm taking off my glasses because I want all of you to see my eyes tonight. So there can be no confusions and no misconceptions after I leave here tonight. Because tonight we're here to celebrate a special moment, a special occasion. But before I even get into that, and get into tonight's message, something has struck me very profound tonight. And it reminds me of a saying that the art of love is a heart of love. And say it with me. The art of love is a heart of love. And tonight, I witnessed for myself a man that epitomized the heart of love. A man of his people. Prime Minister, it's an honor to be here tonight, to hear you tell your story of what you have done for your people, being a man of the people. And not just the people decided upon bearing the land on which you stood. Because here in Jamaica, I'm sure there are many who have tales of good you have done for them here. So we salute you and thank you for being a man of the people. A man that epitomizes the heart of love, which is truly the art of love. I will say the Honorable Mark Golden, who stepped away right back. Another man who has shown his hand as far as it relates to his heart being in the right place for the people. For me as leader of the Maroons of Accompong coming here today would be on the account of the Honorable Isat Buchanan, a Maroon himself who has proudly represented and defended his birthright against a government that is not willing to acknowledge and recognize the fabric of its own people. Let it be said that there would not be a Jamaica as we know it today without the efforts of the Maroons. It would be today a fully owned British colony, something that we could not be deliberating and talking with the confidence that we have now of moving to a republic status. It was on the backs of those First Nations people, the one them where them couldn't catch. We go up on the plantation and leg on off others and carry them up with them. At the Jamaican them too. But then couldn't catch them. Them find a word, then say a Maroon, then them wild. But are we same one? The fabric of this nation was built upon the backs of those who were the leaders of liberation. That is why we blood boil when we see oppression. That is why we blood boil when we face marginalization, when we face oppression. 1738 symbolized a significant moment in the history of this nation. The people of this nation warded off and defended themselves against colonizers. To today be able to sit at a table with everyone to decide how now we the people constitute and govern ourselves. But you cannot say out of many one people without failing to recognize the multitudes that make up the many of our society, of our beloved island that is called Jamaica. Because you see, being Maroon wasn't a bloodline thing. It was a mindset of freedom, a mindset of liberation. That if we have to burn it down, we burn it down. But we can't pass that. Where we are today is in demand and looking for respect, for playing our role in what the new Jamaica looks like. Because rest assured, there are rights that have been preserved here, not only for those who they call Maroons, but for all of us. Because we are the people of the land. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the politics that we engage in today is to understand how collectively we the people will come together to make a better Jamaica. A brand Jamaica that we can stand up on and say, yeah, this is how I define me. When them can't catch Usain Bolt and them say they them never tell us say up in a bunkers, they'll open a stairwood. Soon tell you don't know where Usain Bolt come from. Up in a cockpit country. It's a maroon, Sherwood content. Right? They don't tell you these things. They don't tell you our artists, Vibes Cartel, Buju Banton, Popcorn, Spragga Ben, so many of them, Taros Riley, the Morgan Heritage family, are all Maroons. We're no longer afraid to assert who we are. We are First Nation Jamaicans who have rights that pre-exist a colonial government. Do you understand? So what Colonel Wallace Sterling, all the Maroons and the indigenous peoples on this land are saying, for those rights that were preserved for us before you came, it is now time to decide how we move forward in unifying in what we call a republic. It is not separation, it is not segregation. It is representing right, what is noble, some very powerful words. What is honest, what is noble, what is true, what is right. Because if it is built upon sand, it will sink. If it is built upon sand, it will sink. But if it is built upon the solid foundation, upon the backs of the blood that was shed on this land for the purpose of the prosperity and the purpose of developing and catering to the needs of our people, the collective people, then we must have dialogue. We must have understandings. We must have respect. So, Honorable, I put my respect to you again for inviting the Maroons and the other indigenous peoples to begin those challenging conversations. It is easy to acknowledge that they are challenging, but to know that we've started have only paved the way for fruitful conversations to take place. That is what government is about. Government is about tackling the hard conversations, tackling the hard issues, not skirting around them, and not blindfolding the people from seeing what they ought to see and participating what they ought to be participating in. Constitutional reform must include the indigenous peoples, the First Nation of this island, to truly establish a prosperous republic for all. So yes, the time come. And tonight has been a wonderful and special occasion. My heart is full. I brought my speech and I don't even look at it. Because for me, my heart is full. And I say thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Isat. And I wish you all the best in your pursuits. And I know the people of Portland will make the right decision because you have shown yourself to be a man for the people. Peace be upon you.
Comrades, unlike the rest of you, I don't live in Portland. The leader doesn't live in Portland. And Comrade Ralph does not live in Portland. It seems there's going to be a session here tonight. I will already tender my apologies. I won't be here for the duration of the session. But I think all of the speeches that have been given tonight display the art of love from hearts of love. Each speech, indeed, is a redemption song waiting to be put to music. And the music that we're going to put it to right now is the music of Jamaica Arise. I don't know if the DJ has the song queued up, and I know I cannot sing, but I know Richie Parchment can raise the key for me. So please stand as we sing Jamaica Arise. What, the DJ have it? I'm going to find it, or we're going a cappella it? Oh dear. Oh dear. Let the comrade leader sing. Oh, God.
The trumpet has sounded, my countrymen all. Awake from your slumber and answer the call. The torch has been lighted, the dawn is at hand. Who joins in the fight for his own native land? Land of my birth, I pledge to be loyal and faithful, true to thee.
Journey in Mercies, DJ, play the song.